We last left off with Zal of Zabulistan, the leader of the Iranian army, announcing a halt of their attack on the invading forces of Turan, to tell his troops that they cannot hope to win this war without a king. He instructs his son, Rostam, to travel to Mount Al-Borz and fetch Qobad, a noble man of the Turanian dynasty, who is also a descendant of the great king Fereydoun. Due to his dynastic connection, he is called Kay Qobad. After receiving his father's command, Rostam mounts his horse Rakhsh, and the two ride out with haste. If you recall, Rostam's weapon is the famous ox-headed mace, the same mace used by King Fereydoun himself, and passed down to Rostam's grandfather, Sam. And Rostam soon finds cause to use that mace, when he discovers that the road to Mount Al-Borz is guarded by a strong outpost of the Turanian army. But Rostam is unbothered, and proceeds to charge straight ahead into the enemy base. He knocks many Turanian soldiers dead with the mace, forcing most of them to flee. Those soldiers remaining retreat back to Prince Afrasiab of Turan to inform him that Rostam is fully activated and a dangerous threat to their invasion. Afrasiab receives this news with a bit of worry, but acts decisively to not waste any more time. He summons one of his mightiest and smartest commanders, Qalun, to lead a special force with one sole mission: stop Rostam from reaching Kay Qobad in Mount Al-Borz. Afrasiab also warns Qalun that the Iranians are dangerous fighters who often attack unexpectedly. Qalun marches out with a large army of soldiers along with horses and war elephants to block Rostam's path. But Rostam and Rakhsh are fast, and before long they reach Mount Al-Borz before the Turanians can stop them. They arrive at a riverbank, on which stands a magnificent throne decorated with rosewater and musk, surrounded by shady trees and flowing water. Atop the throne, shining like the moon, sits a handsome young man surrounded by armed guards. The scene resembles a royal court, and Rostam enters to the warm welcome of everyone around. They ask Rostam to stay a while, offer him wine and a place to rest. But Rostam politely declines, saying that Iran is in grave danger. He relays the message that his father Zal bid him deliver. The nation has no king, the Turanian enemy is on the move, and the people are in mourning and in desperate need of help. To rest and celebrate at a time like this while Iran is without a king, Rostam declares, would be wrong. The young noble man on the throne then asks Rostam who he's come to collect, and Rostam tells him the man he seeks is Qobad of the Turanian dynasty, for he has been chosen by the people to lead Iran through this war. "Ah, I know Kay Qobad well," replies the young man. "He will come soon enough, but in the meantime I insist that you sit and tell me more about yourself and your mission. Here, have some wine." Rostam reluctantly accepts and goes on to explain that his father, Zal of Zabulistan, has instructed him to seek the descendant of King Fereydoun, and that the Iranian nobles eagerly await the arrival of Kay Qobad because they've prepared the throne specifically for him. The young man then smiles gently and reveals, "The man you seek is me. I am Kay Qobad, descended from Fereydoun. My ancestry is noble, and I am pleased by your arrival." Hearing this, Rostam immediately rises, bows deeply, and honors Kay Qobad as his rightful sovereign. He praises him as the future ruler of the world, protector of warriors, and the true leader of Iran. Rostam then ceremoniously delivers Zal's official message on behalf of the Iranian army and nation, inviting him to accept the Iranian throne. Kay Qobad gladly accepts, and the two raise their glasses in celebration. Looking at the young noble, Rostam remarks that he recognizes that same aura that King Fereydoun himself had possessed, Thad. He heaps praises onto Kay Qobad and wishes that the world always have such a ruler. Music begins to play, more wine is poured, and everyone celebrates. During the celebration, Kay Qobad tells Rostam that he recently had a remarkable dream in which he saw 2 white hawks flying toward him from Iran, carrying a crown that shone as bright as the sun. In the dream, the birds gently placed the crown upon Qobad's head, and that's when he awoke, believing it to be a divine sign. That's why Qobad had set himself up to look like a king. He'd established his own throne and court on the beautiful riverbank to realize that dream, with hopes that it was a prophecy that would come true. Rostam agrees that the dream was a prophecy, but that also means that they cannot waste any more time. Iran is in trouble, and the new king must lead. So Kay Qobad and Rostam ride out together, traveling day and night down Mount Alborz and back along the road to Zabolestan. But although they could not stop Rostam from reaching Qobad, the Turanian army led by Qalun had stationed themselves on the road, blocking their path home. Rostam catches sight of the mighty enemy forces, and in turn Qalun prepares his troops to take on Rostam. Kay Qobad offers to raise an army of reinforcements to fight the Turanians alongside Rostam, but Rostam insists that he can take them all on himself. Rostam assures the young noble that between him, Rakhsh, his battle axe, the ox-headed mace, and God's protection, they have more than enough to lay waste to Qalun and his men, and there's no need for the young noble to risk his life. So Rostam easily charges on and rips through the first wave of Turanian soldiers with incredible force, knocking them off their horses and crushing them mercilessly with blows from his mace. Within minutes, the battlefield becomes a graveyard of scattered Turanian bodies, with Rostam continuing to charge on. Finally, Qalun himself attacks. He rides fiercely at Rostam and thrusts his spear at his chest. The spear penetrates Rostam's armor, but before Qalun can even take the spear out, Rostam grabs it, tears it from Qalun's hands, roars like thunder, and plunges it straight back through Qalun's own body. Rostam then lifts the impaled Qalun up off his saddle and hoists him into the air for all the other Turanian soldiers to watch. Then he flings Qalun's body onto the ground for Rakhsh to trample it to death. Needless to say, the Turanian soldiers, seeing this, descend into total panic and flee in terror away from Rostam, abandoning their post and clearing the road ahead for Rostam, Rakhsh, and Kay Qobad. Rostam safely escorts Kay Qobad through the mountains back to Zabolestan. Before long, they reach home, and Rostam gives Kay Qobad royal robes to wear, then secretly brings him to meet Zal and the Iranian nobles during the night. For the next 7 days, Zal and the nobles meet privately with the young Kay Qobad. They keep his arrival hidden while discussing the future of the kingdom. By the end of their meetings, everyone agrees Kay Qobad is the most worthy man alive to rule Iran. After celebrating all together, they hang the royal crown above an ivory throne, marking the beginning of Kay Qobad's formal accession, announcing him to the people as Iran's new king. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it or leave a review. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more Shahnameh Quest.